If you've been waiting for your life to calm down before you feel peaceful, this video is for you. Because I used to think that peace happens once everything calmed down. I was asking God to, bring me peace in the midst of the storm. And what God brought me to is He brought me to and reminded me of the scripture of where, I can't think of where it is, but it was when Jesus and His disciples were in the boat and there was a storm going on, and the disciples was anxious, worried, nervous. Jesus was sleeping. Disciples even woke Him up, and He got up and was like, whoa, no, peace, be still. And the storm subsided. And what I realized from that scripture, what God was teaching me at that moment, was that I have been chasing peaceful circumstances, waiting for everything externally to get peaceful and to calm down. But God was trying to teach me how to become a peaceful person. Peace is a choice. And that's something that I had to learn, that I had to choose peace every day. God is not going to take away all your storms, but He wants to teach you how to walk calmly through those storms. And that was the biggest lesson that I had to learn, because I was waiting for everything externally to get better. But it seemed like, after I saw one problem, then another one would come up. And I was just like, it just seemed like this was just going. But once I realized that peace was a choice, you have to choose it every day, that's when things started to change. Because then I realized I was protecting my energy by just not allowing circumstances to affect me like they were. One thing that I've been doing to work on my peace is I worked on resetting my mornings. I used to wake up every morning just tense. It was almost like I was just waking up ready for battle, and I realized that in order for me to become a peaceful person, it starts in the morning for me. So now in the mornings I worked on resetting them, where I'm waking up, I'm early, I'm going for a walk before work, I'm having intentional prayer time, intentional time with God, having moments of just sitting in silence, just trying to reconnect with my body. Because when you're in a chaotic situation, I was so detached from how I was feeling. I was more focused on trying to solve the problem, and that in itself was just not helpful. That I can tell that my body was responding to that stress in an unhealthy way. I can't control tomorrow. I can't control people. I can't control unexpected situations, but I can control where I choose to place my mind. I can choose gratitude. I can choose prayer over panic. Peace is a daily practice. I have to stop replaying yesterday and stop worrying about tomorrow. This has been slowly changing how I've been responding to life. Because God will tell you, He gives us choices every day. We can choose peace, or we can choose anxiety. We choose peace, or we can choose chaos. And this was something that I had to learn, and this is something that you have to be intentional with. You have to be intentional with choosing peace. Just waiting to feel peaceful, just, at least for me, I don't know about you, but at least for me, it didn't do anything, because I was constantly waiting for the situation to change. But it's like, if I'm choosing it, like I am choosing peace, regardless. If anybody brings me any issues, any drama, it's like I'm choosing what to say no to. I'm choosing not to engage. I'm choosing to protect my energy. And once I realized peace was a choice, and I realized this is just a daily practice that I have to do every day. It's not something that just comes naturally to me. It's something that I have to practice intentionally every day. That's when I noticed that my life was changing. And it wasn't like my external situations were still the same, but just how I was responding to them and how I was allowing them to affect me changed. And in that, it's been helping me to learn to be calm in the midst of the storm. That quote that said, you learn to dance in the rain. because then I realized this is just a temporary situation, and it too shall pass. All I have to do is just be intentional, and choose peace every day. So work on that. Be intentional with choosing peace every day. I will tell you, things will change. I'm not going to say things are just overnight, but just make that a daily practice to just intentionally choose peace. Intentionally choose peace. And just watch how things slowly start to change in your life. How you respond is what the biggest change is you. So I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.